Good morning, children. Let's move on to the second part of Chapter 6, Population. In the previous part, we had discussed about the population of India. According to the 2011 census, we said that the population of India was 121 crores. We discussed about physiography and climate, which affect the distribution of population. We also studied why regions have high density of population. Now, let us move over to Brazil and let us study about the distribution of population in Brazil. Coming over to Brazil. Now, Brazil is a country in the continent of South America, and it is the most populated country here. What about the population of Brazil? The population of Brazil is 19 crores, and it is the fifth in the world when it comes to population. Brazil occupies 5.6% of the world's land area. And again, when it comes to, the population, as I said, is the fifth in the world. And again, when it comes to total land area also, we find it is the fifth in the world and has 2.78 of the world's total population. Now, compare that with India. What about the population of India? It is 121 crores. Here, the population of Brazil is only 19 crores according to 2010 census. Now, come to density of people. Density of people is around 23 persons per square kilometer. Now, in India, there are 382 persons living in per square kilometer area. Let's look at the map of the population distribution of Brazil here. Again, this is according to the 2010 census. Here, dot method is used to show the distribution of population. One dot is equal to 2 lakh people. If you observe the map of Brazil, you find again the population is highly uneven. You'll find there are more number of dots along the northeastern part, the coastal region, and even the southeast part of Brazil. Along the Amazon region, you find the number of dots are very, very less. And again the central part and even along the Brazilian highlands, they are comparatively more than the the Amazon basin. Now, let's go into detail. Population distribution is highly uneven in Brazil. Now, you'll find the density of population in Brazil is more along the eastern coastal lowlands because agriculture, industries, etc. is very well developed here. Again, along the coastal regions and even along the southeast part of Brazil, we find the population is very, very dense because of the favorable climate and also because this region receives plenty of rainfall and because of the presence of many industries here. We also have important cities like Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, etc., which are situated along the eastern part of Brazil. Now, what about the density of population in the Amazon region? In the Amazon region, we find the density of population is very low because, as you already know, Amazon basin is situated along the equatorial regions which receive plenty of rainfall, and hence we have dense forests here. Also, the climate is hot and humid, and these forests are highly inaccessible. And because of these reasons, the Amazon basin is sparsely populated. Next, come to the Brazilian highlands. Here you find the population is moderate, and along the central region, we find the population is less. Now, we've already studied distribution of population in Brazil and India. Now let's come over to similarities. We've already seen the distribution, so it is very easy for us to find out the similarities between these two countries. Now, the distribution of population in both India as well as Brazil is highly uneven. And we also saw that the physical features as well as climate play a very important role in distribution of population. That is, wherever the climate is favorable, we found that the population density was more. And in regions like, say, deserts or even the mountainous regions, we found again the population to be low. Regions of high densities are usually those which lie along the, say in India, if you say the Indo-Gangetic plain, or say the metropolitan cities like, say, Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai, etc. Or if you take Brazil, along the northeastern part of Brazil and the coastal regions and southeast part of Brazil, which have very high density of population. We also said that wherever there are dense forests, population density is very, very low. Let's come over to differences. What is the total land area occupied by Brazil when you compare it with the world? It is 5.6. Brazil occupies 5.6% of the world's total land area and has 2.78% of the world's population. The density of population is 23 persons per square kilometers. Now, though it occupies more land area, you find density of population is very, very low. Let's come over to India. India occupies only 2.41% of the total land area of the world, but supports 17.5% of the world's population. And when it comes to density, it is 382 persons per square kilometers. Now, let's move over to the rivers found in these two countries. The river Ganges or the Ganga in India, as well as the Amazon River in Brazil, are large rivers in these two countries. But if we take the Ganga River, we find the population here is very, very dense. The reason here is the soil is fertile, the land is flat, climate is favorable, and we find transport facilities are easily available. Then roads and railways can easily be developed. Industries are developed along these regions and they provide employment to many people. And that's the reason why we find density of population being more in the Gangetic region. What can you say about the Amazon region then? The Amazon region has sparse population, and as you already know, we find due to heavy rainfall, dense forests, and also because of its inaccessibility, the hot and humid climate doesn't allow human settlements to flourish in this region. Now let's discuss population composition. Under population composition, we are going to deal with sex ratio, age composition, age and sex pyramid, birth rate and death rate, growth rate, life expectancy, and literacy. Now, sex ratio. Just look at the graph given here. This is a line graph which shows the sex ratio of Brazil and India. Now, if you look at this graph, we find the sex ratio in Brazil has more or less been very, very favorable. That is, from 1961, the number of females have always been above 1,000. If you look at this year, that is 2011, there have been, say, 1,080 females per 1,000 males. Let's move over to the graph of India. Now, sex ratio in India, as I said, has always been unfavorable. In 1961, there were 940 females per 1,000 males. And, there was a dip in 1971. Further, we find towards 1981, the sex ratio slightly improved and there was a downward trend. Towards 2011, the sex ratio of India was 940 females per 1,000 males. Now let's come over to explanation of sex ratio. What is sex ratio? Sex ratio means the number of females per 1,000 males in a region. Now, sex ratio is actually a very important social indicator because it shows us the equality between the males and females in a society. Now, as I said, in India, sex ratio has been highly unfavorable. Kerala has the highest sex ratio. Here we have 1,084 females per 1,000 males. Also, Pondicherry also is better placed, wherein we have 1,034. But Haryana, its position is very low. We have only about 870 females per 1,000 males. Haryana, Punjab, etc. have low sex ratio. This is because of the preference to male child due to many problems, social problems like say dowry, and also because of female infanticide. The number of females is always been low in these two states. Again, Daman Diu also fares very poorly. Here it is only 618 females per thousand males. Recently, there had been many government initiatives to improve the sex ratio in India. One of them is this Bachao Beti Padhao, and this celebrates the girl child and allows her to complete her education with the help of 10% assistance from the central government as well as by the state government. Through this, there has been some improvement in the sex ratio at birth.